Want to bring in House Republican Conference Chair, Washington Congresswoman Cathy McMorris-Rodgers on that. Congresswoman, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's great to be with you, Maria.
I want to talk about the legislation that you are introducing today about reining in unauthorized discretionary spending in a moment. But first, let me get your take on where you are right now as a membership on health care.
Yes, well, those important member-to-member discussions continue. Our goal is to get the votes to move forward on the repeal and replace of Obamacare. We believe it is very important that every person in this country has a better health care future. So when we have the votes, we plan to take that vote.
Yeah. Do you think it will happen within weeks? I mean, we just heard Mark Meadows say, look, it's going to happen. But people aren't so sure because, of course, we saw that the first bill was pulled. So how close would you say we are then, Congresswoman?
You know, those discussions continue. This is a legislative process.
Right.
We have to hear from our members. They just saw the text on the MacArthur amendment. That is the one that the Freedom Caucus agreed to, and they're reviewing that. We're having conversations. The members need to talk to one another, but I believe that we are moving in the right direction.
All right, so we hope that we will see some solid plans soon. Now, yesterday you introduced the Unauthorized Spending Accountability Act. You're calling it the USA Act. Very clever.
Right.
The legislation reins in any spending on government programs that has not been reauthorized by the people's representatives. Why did you decide to introduce this legislation this week?
Well, I believe that anyone who cares about accountability should care about unauthorized spending. We're talking about hundreds of programs, agencies, billions of dollars. It's estimated over $300 billion. And right now, we are in the process of trying to get the votes to keep the government funded. This unauthorized spending needs to be addressed in this country. We need budget reform. The USA Act is a part of that solution. I'm encouraged with the support that I'm getting, Freedom Caucus members as well as other members of the conference that recognize that this needs to be addressed.
So where are the levers to pull in terms of cutting back spending, Congresswoman? It seems like that is always the topic du jour because of the debt and the deficits and, of course, all of these grand plans that you and your colleagues have, as well as the White House, whether it's tax reform, which we don't know how much that's going to cost. We got the plan yesterday that the president would like to see, or health care. What are the most important levers to pull when looking at what to stop spending on?
It's most important that Congress does its job to review, rethink, eliminate programs. That's the oversight function. That's what the USA Act requires, unauthorized spending, so that the federal government doesn't continue on autopilot. And I believe that it is through this process, as we rethink, if we bring each one of these programs before Congress and that we do our job, that it's going to result in more efficiency, more accountability. Many of these programs have not been reauthorized for years, decades. And so it's been status quo. And these programs, agencies need to be updated. Clearly, there's more efficiencies today. We could use technology. We could make sure that they're being more responsive, get people back at the center of this government. So this is a part of the solution when it comes to accountability and transparency in our government.
Yeah, you've got to watch the bottom line. Someone's got to be there to make sure that the spending does not go wild. For